I think music is a powerful tool in RPGs because it enhances immersion, it sets the tone, signals shifts in narrative or mood, but it can also prepare people for the game itself. And that's why in today's video I want to share with you the 7 ways I use music in my RPG sessions. Before I jump into that though, thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part today. If you're brand new here to the channel, thanks for visiting. If you like videos about DM tips, world building, and reviews, all with an old school slant, this might be the channel for you, so go ahead and click that subscribe button. And for those of you that might be looking for a new setting, or at least a small setting to run your players through, I also have a zine that I put out monthly. This issue is the latest issue. It is the clans of Kellen and Kael. It is a valley that is ripe with battle, set between 2 mountain ranges that are filled with secrets, mystery, and bloodshed. Packed with 42 pages of ideas, NPCs, clan leaders, monsters, and more. So if you want your players to have more battle, why not go ahead and take them to the Valley of Kellen and Kael, and then maybe you could play some really cool battle music when the time is right. There'll be a link down below if you're interested. Now let's go ahead and talk about the 7 ways that I like to use music in my RPG sessions. So let me go ahead and start with a story. I was setting up one of my games at my local game store, and one of the young people come in that was scheduled to be in the session came into the room and blurted out to his dad, said, "Cool, he's got music playing and everything." Clearly, he had some ideas of what he wanted from his first D&D experience, and I was happy not to disappoint. Now, this certainly wasn't the first time that I had used music in connection with my sessions, but I don't like players walking into a cold, lifeless room, which is the first and maybe the best way that I like to use music in my sessions because it requires 0 timing. One of my favorite styles of music that I like to play pre-game is lo-fi fantasy music. It's just chill, head bobbing music. Now, this doesn't mean that I won't have Conan's Anvil of Crom or Brass Buttons from The Hobbit playing at times. Sometimes I use the music as a clue to the kind of adventure we're going to be having, and the clue could even be in the title of the song. So if my players are savvy enough, they know the music, well, they might guess what's going on. Now, listen, if lo-fi is not your jam, hey, just put on a fantasy movie soundtrack, and there'll be plenty of songs to choose from that you can use pre-session. Now, you can see here, I have put up a Spotify playlist, but I have put a playlist for every style of music that I like to play during my session down in the description, and it is a link to YouTube playlist. Now, if you're a Spotify user, well, that's great too. But I would offer you one tip. To maintain the immersion, don't use music on free music apps because there's nothing worse than hearing an insurance ad right before the first blow is struck. If you're using YouTube, make sure you play through the whole song to make sure no ads pop up. And listen, if you're ambitious, go ahead and put together your own playlist and customize it to your group. Now, the second way that I like to use music in my D&D session is tavern music. That's right. I know it's a trope, but it's a great trope. You meet in a tavern, so why not have the appropriate background music? Now, this could be music for the tavern, inns, towns, or festivals. There are great medieval versions of modern songs you can find online. Your players might freak out when you say, a bard gets up on stage and begins to play, and suddenly they hear, "Wake me up before you go-go." Or they may not notice at all. I'll put a link to that song down below. And another quick tip is, before you decide on the music you want to play, consider the kind of game your players want to play. If they're looking for immersion or a grittier game, then funny or lighthearted might not be the music you want to choose. If you're playing a gonzo-style game and everyone's down for a crazy time, then all bets are off. The third way I like to use music in my game is for travel. Travel music can include walking through the countryside, in the forest, or while dungeon crawling. You can also use music to reflect the region or season you are traveling in. Snowy mountains versus haunted forest, spring, winter, etc. Music can also include noise like a crowded bar, nature sounds, the wind blowing, rain, and thunder to indicate a bad storm is coming. But let me offer you another quick tip. Don't make the music so loud that you can't hear your players, or that your players can't hear you or each other. Remember, the characters are the focus at the table, not the music. The fourth way that I like to use music in my game is combat. To be honest, I don't use music in combat very often because I forget to use it. When I get dialed into a game, I'm thinking about things like ambushing, initiative, and keeping the pace of the game moving along. Which brings me to another quick tip. You don't have to be the one running the music. Maybe one of the roles at the table, along with note taker or treasure wrangler, could be the role of DJ. If you're playing with a group of experienced players, and by experienced I mean older, they are likely to have a diverse palette of music. Ask them at the beginning of your game or week prior. What kind of music would your character want playing during a tavern brawl? These are always my favorite scenes in a movie when a fight breaks out and the band or the jukebox is playing a certain song. Scenes that illustrate good music plus a good fight might be a clip from The Bronx Tale or the movie Best of the Best, and I'll put links down below to those clips. The fifth way that I use music in my game is to build suspense or to represent horror. Maybe you love horror movie themes and maybe like Scooby-Doo creeping around music. Both can set the mood based on the kind of game you're wanting to play. Movies and TV shows are a great source for music, but so are video games. The soundtrack for Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Dead Space are all good choices when you're sharing a found letter or during the big bads, this is why I did this, and this is how you're going to die. Which brings me to another quick tip. You can have too much of a good thing. You don't have to use music 7 times in your game session. In fact, I don't recommend it. Choose the best encounters or moments to use music, like when a player character achieves their great character arc, or the party is fighting the final boss. The sixth way I like to use music in my sessions is cinematic or emotional moments, which gives me a great opportunity to do a little investigating with my players. I would ask them, hey, if your character dies, what music would you want played, if any? If your players are on board with music in the game, this might be a fun question to ask them. Think about the movies you've seen where a major character has died. Did they die heroically? Well, that needs a certain kinds of music, like when Tony Stark, Iron Man, dies in Endgame, which is a great soundtrack. You could play You Did Good or The Real Hero. Once again, video games have sad, even tragic music. You could use Bloodborne's Garaham, The First Hunter, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Coup de Grace. Both could be played while characters offer their farewell speech. Another quick tip, don't let music get in the way of the moment. Players and characters make the moment. Music only enhances it. And the seventh way that I like to use music is when the game is over. I like to have soft, fun music playing in the background when I wrap up my sessions for the same reason that I like to open with that music. I don't like a cold, dead room. The right kind of music can put a period, an exclamation point, or an ellipsis at the end of your session or campaign. Here are a few ways that you can collaborate around musical choices. At the beginning of a campaign or session 0, ask players to write down their character's choice for death, dying music, battle music, etc. For one-shots and conventions, ask players, if you are chosen MVP of the game, what will be your closing song? This motivates players to play their character well, so their song gets chosen. Ask players to write down a good closing session song and drop it in a bowl. At the end of the session, pull out a slip of paper and play that song. And my last quick tip is this. Create scene-specific playlists before the session. Don't waste time during the game searching for a song. But that's how I like to use music in my game. How do you like to use music in your game? Leave me some comments down below. Leave me your favorite battle song, sad song, or a story about a moment at your table where you played music and it totally enhanced the moment. And listen, if you're looking for more videos about DM advice, well, I'll put a list right over here. And if you'd like to know more about my Crit Happens zine, well, I'll go ahead and put a playlist right here you can check out. And listen, if you like this video, please go ahead and click that thumbs up button. It tells me you like the video and you want more of them. But that's it for today, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next video.